And my understanding is there are 6 public questions, and at least 5 of those will be on the libraries. And you can boo and hiss as you see fit in answer to those libraries. Then
can we throw tomatoes?
You can. Then there'll be 1 or 2 other agenda items, and then the library petition will be heard and the debate will follow it. So it will start before 7:30 in effect, depending on how long it takes to ask the questions. But round about 7:30 the library debate will commence, and it ought to be over probably by 7:45, 5 to 8. So that's generally the.
And then we leave when the library's bit is done.
You can leave when the petition ends, but you can always stay for the rest of the exciting agenda that us councillors have to sit through till 10 o'clock. But you're quite free to leave as soon as the debate ends. But I'll just find out. Most of you can go up to the public gallery, but I'll see.
And what time should we go through?
About 1.
You would just as soon cut Romeo and Juliet from a high school curriculum as you'd cut algebra. Both train young minds how to think in critical ways. Both foster problem solving and spatial reasoning. Both create adults who question and contribute to society. Fundamentally, reading creates better societies. This is not a theory, this is a quantifiable fact. There is a direct correlation between the rate of literacy in a nation and its success. This is why the funding of libraries should be a matter of national security. Keeping libraries open, giving access to all children to all books is vital to our nation's sovereignty. For nearly 85% of kids living in rural areas, the only place where they have access to technology or books outside the schoolroom is in a public library. Now that's an American statistic, but it can be borne out in the sentiment. For many urban kids, the only safe haven they have to study or do homework is the public library. Librarians are soldiers in the battle for our place in the world, and in many cases they are getting the least amount of support our communities can offer. We need to shift our national view of libraries, not as luxuries, but as necessities. When tragedy strikes in other nations, we're generous, but our libraries are being hit with a tsunami, and there's been no call to action. Staff are being fired, hours are being cut, doors are being closed, buildings are being razed, kids are being left behind, futures are being destroyed. Libraries are the backbone of our educational infrastructure. They're being slowly broken by bankrupt local governments and apathetic politicians. As voters and taxpayers, we have to demand our local governments properly prioritise libraries. As charitable citizens, we must invest in our library down the street so that the generations serviced by that library grow up to be adults who contribute not just to their local communities, but to the world. Kids who read become students who do well at school. Students who do well at school go to university. University students graduate to good jobs and pay higher taxes. Libraries don't service only left-wingers or right. They don't judge by class, race or religion. They service everyone in their community, no matter their circumstances. Rich or poor, no one is denied. Libraries are not simply part of our guarantee to the pursuit of happiness, they are a civil right. If we lose our libraries, we risk losing our communities, our families and ourselves. Those are the words of Karen Slaughter, and wisely put in here. Thank you again all for coming tonight. I think we all know quite how important it is, and hopefully the debate will be well reasoned, and reason will prevail, and we will see a diminishment of the budget cuts, I hope, and I hope that a lot more will be put into our libraries, and they'll hear that we want professional staff and a publicly funded service that will take us into the future, so that when my 3-year-old says to me, or I hope she never says to me, what is a library? My hope is that she will always remember Highworth Library in her case, but depending on where your children go, or where your mums and dads go, or where you go, you'll always remember your local library. Thank you.
All through history, wouldn't you say that the library was one of the most important places of learning?
So, there's a bit of history in here actually. Before the Gutenberg Bible, the only people who could read were the rich and the powerful. After they managed to get literacy down to lower levels and libraries sprung up, that's when you started to see social mobility and see people coming out of serfdom into a place where they could actually start working for themselves and getting out of poverty. Yeah, absolutely.
Because literature does indeed make better nations, doesn't it? I mean, it educates us. It helps us learn from the mistakes from the past.
Agreed, definitely agreed. Definitely, it's a very
So
which, if you remember, is about rumour. And we know what the media are like, so
Yeah, load of rubbish.
I'm going to do a few lines of that.
Satire. Libraries tell the truth.
Open your ears, for which, and it is his 400th year. Round of applause to Shakespeare, please. So here we go, we'll start again. North. South. I don't know whether it is. East. West. Open your ears, for which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud of rumour speaks? I from the Orient to the drooping West, making the wind my post horse, still unfold the axe commenced on this ball of earth. Upon my tongues, this is like the mail and the star and the sun, upon my tongues continual slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of men and women with false reports. I speak of peace, while covert enmity under the smile of safety moves the world. A little bit more. And who but rumour, who but only I, make fearful musters and prepared defence, like Trident? Big boo for Trident. What a waste of money. They could spend it on the libraries, couldn't they?
Yes.
I want you to say 3 times after me, spend it on the libraries.
Spend it on the libraries.
Live it louder.
Spend it on the library!
One more time.
Spend it on the library!
I hand you back to our companion. Thank you.
Over to Shirley. Round of applause, please. Round of applause to Shirley.
I can't do Shakespeare, it's too long since I learned it in school. But seeing everybody here, there's children from the age of 2, and there's older people like myself getting a bit long in the tooth, and everybody in between. And that's what libraries are for. They're the last neutral space that everybody can go to, however much money they've got, however much status they've got. They can all walk into the library, all be friendly, all be ready for a nice welcome from the staff, and they can get the books and the computer usage and the summer reading challenge and all these different things. And the older people can remain independent for longer. They're not going to have to sit at home and have some nice do-gooder bring them books to the door so they never see anybody. They can trot down to their local library and enjoy that. Who are we to say that certain sections of society don't deserve libraries? The young, the middle-aged, the poor, even the rich want libraries. Yeah, they pay their taxes too. Why shouldn't they have libraries? The people that vote for these councillors, they also use libraries. Let's get.
He loves libraries, he told us.
He does say he loves libraries. Everybody needs libraries. It's not one faction or another. We don't have to be tribal about this. That's what's good about public libraries. They're public and they're for everybody. Save libraries. Drum roll.
Thank you very much. Let's have another 3 cheers for the libraries then. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! And for the library staff. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Thank you. Lovely. Thanks, Shirley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a supplementary question. Thank you for the answers prepared at home. Just have a chance to read. My supplementary question is, I've been copied into an email from our local MP, Justin Tomlinson, on the 19th of February, when local residents were very concerned about all our libraries and Highland libraries in particular, and he says that in his email he says the additional funding, £825,000, provided by the government in last week's transitional funding announcement has helped remove the urgency for decisions going forward. So I would like to repeat the question that I've asked previously to Councillor Perkins and others. Every other Conservative local authority has been able, despite having the same financial challenges as this authority has, to be able to find funding for both libraries and the essential public services that we have. So would the Council consider taking our MP's advice and using the transitional funding which the government have provided? Thank you.
Thank you. You also certainly answer the question. First of all, there's two questions there. One related to the other Conservative councils not using volunteers or not giving any other than their professional services. That's not true, because in fact Wiltshire has over 500, between 500 and 600 volunteers actually support their libraries and maintain their libraries.
Excuse me, my question was not about volunteers, it was about the use of transitional funding.
Well, I'm now going to go to that, right, if I may. Right? The transitional funding, right, I took to mean, and has been supported by my colleagues, that it is to help the transition of the services, right, to a sustainable model for the future, not to just put off the decision for 2 years, which is all it would do. It doesn't change the situation financially as long as you use that money purely to actually plug a gap in the budget for this year and next year, because in 3 years' time one would be in exactly the same position, without any transitional funding. And therefore this council has seen fit to use that transitional funding to support the transition of the library service and other services to the new model, and it will be used to support that transitional period and the transition, as I say, any training, any support that any groups or any other volunteers or anything else which is needed for training. So that's where that transitional funding will be used, and that's what I felt, that's what the word meant.
People in Swindon need to know what's going on. Yeah. They need to know what you and us as councillors are spending their money on. Now, if you think you can justify the level of debt, then say so. Be proud of it. Say this is what we're spending it on. Don't hold it in fancy words which people don't really understand what it's amounts to. Because that is what we're doing. And you've got the audacity to continue to talk about debt. And even the council, in his reply to the public up to the top, were saying that the debt the Labour Party ran up in government goes back to 2001. He couldn't wait to get that dig in, but he won't admit to the debt that we've got in this council. Yes, I think one of the front bench, I think it may be him again, I do apologise, I've got the wrong member this time, also says that they inherited a £500,000 debt from the Labour group when they took over in 2003. I dispute that fact, but we'll take it on face value tonight. If that's so, well, there's a hell of a lot of difference of £500,000 to £8.4 million. And secondly, you've had 13 years to get that to £8.5 million. That you must be embarrassed by the level of debt that you are incurring on this council because you're not being open and transparent. Prove me wrong, support the amendment. Sorry.
But don't be the same as the rest of them. Start to speak plainly, tell the people why you're doing it, and don't try to outsmart it. It brings us all down.
Party on debt when you campaigned to take on £150 million worth of housing debt, which we didn't need to take on. So we will fund it and continue to invest in the future of this town.
Bullshit.
million, £500,000 in council coffers doing nothing.
What?
It's council taxpayers' money that is there, ongoing money, which is doing nothing. It is just sitting there. It is not part of the statutory requirement on reserves. It is money that's been put aside in there are contingency. Well, if the contingency isn't about saving lives, I don't know what is.
Here, here.
£500,000 of council taxpayers' money doing nothing. And that is a criminal that you should be allowed that to happen when there are services begging out for money in this borough that you could fund overnight. And I ask you to think about that and actually support the library services. You do not have to change your overall budget. You do not have to put council tax up. The Labour amendment delivered the services savings that we people want to see in this borough without changing those two figures, but you rejected it. Mr. Mayor.
Well, I support the libraries, I think we all do. And I also seek a means that you're going to continue in the form they have now. Professionals running the libraries and actually getting the actual support they need. There is a metamorphosis going on, becoming information hubs, information centres, place for IT. It can all happen. And also an information centre for the council services. So there are many possibilities. When it comes to funding, it's very clear. It's not for the council to set priorities. I join with Labour in making sure that libraries are a top priority, that we will not cut. We will Belfast United in that. And I hope the administration will learn by what they've done these last few months and the reaction they've had not to make the cuts. It's simple. Support the people that voted us in.
We have to base it on the figures which we know are
Challenge central government. Challenge central government.
Have a word with Dodgy Day. That we do have a choice. Do we spend money that is meant for transitional funding and just don't try to look into how things may be done differently?
That £10 million could be spent upon public services like libraries, like children's centres, and we wouldn't need to be here tonight. It's an ideological attack on public services and local government. Councils used to run education, they've gone. Councils used to run leisure services, they've gone. Councils used to run nurseries, they've gone. Councils run libraries, but how long for? And it's because of the ideological commitment of this Tory government that we're here tonight having to try to defend our libraries. Now, there is an alternative to that, and it's not to go for that £10 million surplus. There is an alternative to the Swindon libraries locally, as Councillor Small has pointed out. The Labour position, as outlined in the budget, was that we use that money, as found by Councillor Small, transitional money and others, to keep the library service, the libraries open, and the library service guide, no cuts at all, for the next 2 years, in which time we engage with the people of Swindon, say Swindon Libraries Campaign, say Highwood Libraries Campaign, and others, and no, you see, don't agree, because basically you've already made a decision, haven't you? You've made a decision.
Yes, you have. Like with the children's centres.
£300,000 cut in the budget for library service this year. What a library needs is a librarian. No librarian, no library. Basically what you've got, as Councillor Robbins was saying, is Walcott Library is basically a bookshop run by volunteers. It's not a library. It's not a library. And what happens, and we can see where this is going, without a library without a librarian run by volunteers, what next? Teachers, classrooms without teachers? Classrooms run by volunteers? You may shake your head, but
they want everyone to work for free in the public sector. That's all they want.
He's got he's very much influenced in the Tory party, so that's where we're looking at next. What we need to do is to, as the amendment says, is to keep the financial commitment to libraries as it is, no cuts, and we will work with the administration and with the library campaign over the next year, over the next 2 years, in order to try and come up with a model that is sustainable and works. We need to scrap your emergent model because it clearly doesn't work. It clearly doesn't have the confidence of the people of Swindon, which is the important thing. And we need to look, as Councillor Robbins has said, at other models in Suffolk, in Devon and elsewhere, so we can come to a point where hopefully we can keep all the libraries open, staffed by librarians, and keep the Swindon library service going as it is now. I urge all councillors in this room tonight to vote for the amendment and to save Swindon libraries. Thank you.
We can stand outside banging our platforms and blowing our whistles, right? And maybe someone will come along and give us £1.5 million. And this is £1.5 million per year. So
How
for 20
rude he
years,
is
that's
about
30
us
million
demonstrating.
pounds. So to compare with the roundabout, might cost 4 million, as you said, right?
Are they
That's in the last
protesting
40,
to
50
central
years.
government?
You're
No,
not comparing the two at the same. Right, we're talking about a long-term sustainable future for life. Right? And I'm going to ensure that we have that in the future. But I'm asking if you really care about the long-term future of libraries and don't make it a political football to stand here that we hear, go and blame the government, blame that government. Let's forget about government for 2 minutes, right?
Making the cut! You're making the cut! Your
We have a budget, we have legally to maintain the debt, and we know being prudent looking forward that it's going to be reduced by another 60, 70 million over the next 4 years. Right? If Jim moves over, I'll stick my head in the same hole as he sticks his head in, right? Already. But we have to face up to reality, and that's why we're still in power. And that's why we're still investing in
Ulrich! The Panama Papers are related.
Clear the gallery, and will the gallery either behave or leave? You have two choices.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I don't think we're going to behave.
No, we're not being.
I can remember the schools that we
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame.
On the Tory side.
Carry on the fight. It's not the end of it now. It's the start of the fight. Yeah. People,
You have no conscience.
hope you can sleep at night.
You'll be asked to leave.